There we are, guys. All right, man. How you guys doing tonight? Welcome to the W Number Podcast. Got a amazing guests. I'm gonna have my IT guy just take a look real quick and then but how
Oh,
you
there
guys
you are.
Joe, you guys can hear me?
All right, how you doing? You got me?
What's up, Stevie, man? How you doing, bro?
Can
Joey?
you hear me?
Yes, I can.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on, player?
All right, how you doing?
I'm doing great,
Good.
man. So I'm
All
looking
right.
forward to getting into this story here, bro. Joe, you got a bunch of stuff to talk about. Stevie, you too, two old school convicts. Stevie was in Walpole back in the day when it was grinding out, bro. That yard was hard as hell. We got Joey, been to the feds, did 10 years, then was handpicked by Ben Affleck to play a role in the movie The Town. And man, this doesn't get more interesting than these two people right here. So we're gonna get into a bunch of stuff, man. First, let's start off with Stevie, because we just had Joey on. Everybody knows him. Stevie, just tell us what your name is and where you grew up and all that.
My name's Steve Morello. I grew up in Maverick Projects, East Boston.
It's a little low. Okay. So what was it like growing up in East Boston back in the day? What was it like, the 80s and 70s?
Yeah, I grew up in the 70s and early 80s, and it was like any typical
You could go.
how can I say it? Any typical just straight hoodlum neighborhood of everybody poor and
So you went to my fault, Stevie. You're breaking up just a little bit.
The fuck out of here.
if I turn this around, maybe this would be better.
Yeah. While you're doing that,
sound
Joey, what's
better?
up, bro?
What's up, buddy?
Hey,
I'm no better with this fucking technology shit. I got a fly or something, a little mosquito or something. I'm getting eaten alive out here. That's all right. Boys.
Yo, so Joey, you were in the feds and stuff like that. What year did you get, bagged up and end up in the feds?
2000. It's funny because I wanted to. I remember thinking, you got me reminiscing now, but I wanted to make it till 2000. That was the big thing, New Year's 2000.
Word.
And I made it, and it's like in the year of sobriety. You know what I mean? It's like, now what? And yeah, so shortly after that, I was on a mission, I guess, and I got what I asked for, and thank God it wasn't worse. But yeah, so
Yeah.
it's 2000, and came home the end of 2009.
So when you got bagged up, did you expect to do a lot of time? Were you looking at a crazy amount of time and get less, or what was going on with that?
It's funny, you should ask that, because we believe what we want to believe, and I remember as a kid, I mean, you could tell me anything, if I had any respect for you, or if and I remember learning that, if you get a call with a gun, you get a year and a day in South Bay, and that seemed doable. And next thing you know, I'm getting hit with drug trafficking, crossing state lines, 924C, which means use and carry in relation to, use and carry the firearm in relation to a drug trafficking crime, like you're protecting the drugs, and yeah. So I certainly I didn't do my homework on that one, and year and a day certainly wasn't. There was 5 for the gun, 5 for the drugs, and so that was a wake up call right there,
Yeah, I bet. So what happens when you first get bagged up? You go to the intake, federal intake, and then get sent off to where do you go?
It's funny how it worked. I was on my way. I think I mentioned it to you before, but I had a couple buddies that played hockey up in Maine. I was trying to still, I had dropped out. I went to college for a couple of years, short of a couple of years. Once you're from Charlestown, once you transfer to Bunker Hill community, right, and you're a street guy, yeah, it's a wrap. So I certainly didn't finish that year, and then it was on, and I remember I was trying to live that life, trying to live like a college kid. I get, let's say, but also play the role of I was trying to be both, I guess, and that didn't work out. But I was going to visit a couple friends in Maine. They played hockey up there, and you know, and I go pull over in New Hampshire. And anyone out there listening, do not get arrested in New Hampshire. Live free or die. They don't play up there. So I ended up spending a couple, you know, maybe a year and a half. I could have left earlier, I'm sure, but I had my lawyer drag it out so my family would only have to drive like an hour or so, a couple hours to see me rather than once a year in the feds, you know.
Mm.
So yeah, in New Hampshire that was county time, you know. That was, you know, so we made the most of it, you know what I mean? And yeah, so that's about it.
So real quick, let me ask Stevie a couple questions about his introduction into Walpole and stuff like that. And we'll go piece by piece. We'll just, you know, get the introductions to the prisons, and then, you know, we'll compare and contrast the federal system to the state system. That's kind of what I want to do, because, you know, it seems like something that so many people are interested in. I know the feds get a lot of respect and shit on the YouTube wave, and I feel like the state system is just as gritty in a lot of senses, man. So explain what Walpole was like when you get in there, you get bagged up. What do you get bagged up for, Stevie? And how is it getting in there and shit when you're a kid?
Yeah, I same thing, man. I grew up, I started doing drugs and, you know, started stealing out of stores. And then that went to stealing cars. That went to being in houses. That went to bank robberies. And that went into spending 42 years of my life in and out of prisons and DYSs. And, you know, going into Walpole at a young age was pretty fucking scary when I went in there, because it was you know, it was the real deal. It was serious back then, and you know, you had to hold your own, and you had to like I said before on a podcast, you had to become a man real fast. You had to decide whether you was a lion or a mouse.
Yep, the lion
And
and the mouse.
yeah, and you're yeah, especially when you're taken in by a crew, you don't just sit at a table. You get invited out of mutual respect from how you grew up at a young age. And if you were a good dude, you got invited. If you're a good dude, you got shit on. And if you were invited at that table, you had to, you know, represent, because you made a reflection on your crew. And if you made a bad reflection, your crew will get rid of you, and you were just pretty much thrown to the wolves. And if your crew did accept you, you know, you run with the wolves. And it was a rough time, but you know, I did okay. I
Yeah, how
held my
was it
own.
like when you say that if you get accepted, like how hard was it to get accepted into like, you know, taken at a table or taken into a crew, you know what I mean, inside there?
Well, with me, it was pretty easy getting accepted, because a lot of the guys in East Boston, kind of like East Boston, South Boston, Charlestown, those guys pretty much ran the, you know, the white side of things. And we all, pretty much everybody at the table where I grew up in Maverick, just like the whole neighborhood was basically there. We were all the same, and we all knew each other. So I always did the right thing when I was young, so I was invited. Now I know there's a couple other guys that I grew up with that, you know, they didn't do the wrong thing, and you know, they immediately it was put on them immediately, and they either had a choice to leave on their own, or to you know, leave by ambulance.
Yeah, right. You know, that's it, man. You leave on a stretcher, leave on your own free will. So
Yeah.
hearing that, Joey, do you think it like how's that match up to the feds? Like, what's it? You know what I mean?
I mean, he hit the nail on the head. Where I think, you know, I said it last time when we did our interview, and you know, about, he said that he did the right thing growing up. You know, it's like, you know, once I hit that corner, regardless of the morals, values, and principles that my parents instilled in me, you know, I checked all the boxes, and like I bought into a code. And like I say, like, for what it's worth, it may not mean anything to normal society, but you know, if you know, in that place or whatever, it's like it counts for everything. And you know, and like I said, we learned that. I mean, and I think Stevie would attest to it. You know, my parents, you know, that's like being in the sandbox as a kid. You know, you don't tattle on anyone. You know, you don't tell on no one. And so that wasn't learned down the corner or nothing. You know, that was just something in my head that said like, all right, well, you know, I gotta let them know, like, this is who I am. And like that was the lie I told myself. You know what I mean?
Word, bro. So when you got in there, like how was the violence right away? Did you have to like, you know, show somebody, you know, basically show dudes that you were running with that you would actually put in work, like, or was it just like,
Well,
you know,
you
a
know what's
waste of
funny?
your time?
So, well, like I said, at first I was in New Hampshire, right? And New Hampshire's a different. It's funny because so close to Mass, right? But it's a different fucking different breed up there. You know, they're like
Mm.
country. I mean, if anything, I'd have a. If I was gonna have a problem, it'd probably be with like you know, some lame from Lawrence or something, right? But there was some good dudes and some, you know, but that's what they do. They go set up shop there, and they knew, like, you know, rail recognizes rail. So like the ones that were about anything, you know, they knew. And you know, for what it's worth, like Stevie can, I'm sure, can say, like, you know, it's almost like you know, the guys that put in work before, the guys that like were, you know, the generations before, you know, um,
Blood,
they
sweat,
kind
and
of
tears.
set the tone. Yeah, they set the tone. So it's like, you know, and you just carry on that. And it's nice because, like, you know, the difference is, like, you know, you're either gonna be part of, right, and you're gonna ride like for the team, right? You're gonna be a team player, and you know, or you know, like the selfish ones, like the people that like you know, I think it's just in them, you know, and it takes a circumstance to bring it out. That's how I feel. That's what's dangerous to guys like us, because, like I said, you know, we'll be in the wrong place, the wrong time with the wrong person, and we will curl up before we'll roll over, you know, and
Fact.
it's not good for anyone else, you know. But
Mm.
so, and that's not necessary.
Yeah, because you think about it, if everybody just kept their mouth shut, nobody would get hit off. But
Oh yeah,
because, you know, you got the two scared ones, they fold, and then you're the only one getting sunk. It's like it doesn't make any sense. People just don't understand. I feel like they don't understand the law. They just get afraid because the cops manipulate them and shit in there. I've never even stepped foot in that the detective's office. You know, I go to sleep when I hit the police station. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
fuck.
I mean, what's there to talk about, really? You know what I mean? Especially once you put the cuffs on me, it's a wrap. You know what I mean? That's it. There's nothing. There's we're playing cops
What
and
the
robbers.
hell?
I mean,
Hold up, my fault. My fault. Hold on, guys.
this is life on life's terms. We're going live, baby. Shit happens. How you gonna deal with it?
Fault, guys. My fault, guys. I don't know what the fuck just happened there, dude. That was some weird shit.
That was the cops. That was the
Using the studio equipment, dude, and the shit just popped off, kid, right in the middle.
that was law. That was the law right there. They just
Right? Yo,
They shut
word,
us
they're like,
down. They
"Bro, you
said, "Look
moving
at
too
these
slow."
fucking maniacs over there." Yeah.
Yo,
Would
so
they snatch Maddie up? Maddie, where'd you go?
yo, Stevie, so Walpole in that
Where the
yard,
hell you
bro,
go?
in the 80s, kid, right? Is the 80s?
Every year's all right.
Yeah. So Walpole in the 80s, right? What's it
Yeah.
like in Walpole in the 80s, bro?
It's just like the tension in the air was crazy. You had there was stuff that was going on between the you know, some of the blacks and the whites that was, you know, long-term on-site things, and it was just like you run into each other. The minute you run into each other, it's just on. And if you're there, you got to jump. If even if you got nothing to do with it and something jumps off, you just got to jump. And you better have your fucking winning your fight game up, because they don't break fights up in there. It goes to the end. When you guys are all done and tuck it out and you want to finish, then they come in and get you. Otherwise, they just sit there and they watch the show. You know, it's entertainment for them. They don't give a fuck. They ain't stepping in the arena to break up anybody. So you're basically on your own.
What's the first interaction that you got in, like the first altercation that you got into? How'd that go down? Like, what happened?
But when I first got in there, there was this kid. I remember his name was Eric. He was a big musclehead, and I was in Gardner with him, and I just didn't like the kid. He was just an idiot. We never got along and nothing. He always had a fresh mouth. So when I first actually went to Walpole, I was walking through the corridor with a couple of dudes that I grew up in the projects with, that I known since we were 7, 8 years old. And I was walking by, and because this kid likes to play all the time, and he's like, yo, what's up, you bum? And I turned around and I looked at him, right? And I just looked at him. I said, yo, what's up? And I kept going. My boy just jumps up and goes, yo, you let him call you a bum? I was like, nah, that kid's just an idiot. Nah, what do you mean? Nah, you can't let him call you no bum. I was like, listen, the guy he's a weirdo. He's like, nah, we got to straighten that out. Now, this kid's 260 pounds. You know, been in a while. The kid's benching 500, squatting 600. I'm just this little skinny 19-year-old kid that just came in there. And all of a sudden, within a week being in the prison, I got to go see this guy out on the yacht. I don't know what to do. So they were like, calm down, relax. We're going to see him in the yard. So I go back to the block. Now I got all the fellas around me in the block. The cell, they're like, all right, when he comes in, I got 19 different guys telling me how to choke. Now I know how to fight. I grew up in the project, but I got 19 guys telling me how to fight and what to do. And my friend Glenn Sullivan, God rest his soul, he's like, put these on. And he threw these little pair of Fruit of the Loom underwear at me. I was like, what the fuck is that? He's like, yeah, you don't want your balls dangling because they'll grab them, they'll bite them, they'll kick them. I was like, I can't get in these things. So I'm standing up. I'm in a cell with 9 guys putting these little tight underwears on, shaking like a leaf because I don't want to go and fight this guy. But I can't not fight him. I have to go out there and fight him. Now I got another guy saying, here, just take this, stab him. I was like, oh, come on, guys. I just came back. I ain't even got that much time. It's my first bid. I'm doing a 4 to 6. These guys are doing light bids. They handed me knives with this too. Now I'm nervous to go out there. So I'm like, all right, I don't want the knife. I'll just go out there and fight him. Now I hear another guy say, yeah, dude say he's going to grab you, just pick you up and break your neck. Now I'm real scared because the guy's huge. I don't want him to grab me. I'm like, how am I going to make this guy not grab me? So I grab a handful of dirt on the way out in the yard. And when he came at me, I threw dirt in his eyes. I hit him with a couple shots. He curled up. I got the win. And I got that hot pig.
Yeah,
I'll fight anybody out here. And that's how it went down, man.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
And it was just a matter of a guy who was just playing around and said, yo, what's up, chump? He wasn't from the area. He was from a different area. And from what I understand, his case wasn't even all that good. It might have been like a half a skin beat. He put his hand somewhere or whatever type of shit. So that made it even all the more worse. Nah, you can't have no skin of calling you no bum. I was like, look at this. And that was my first introduction to having to stand up and be a man and just it's just the spur of the moment. It's just there's no give. You have to represent back then. Now it's different. Everybody talks about everybody. Everybody wants to sniff a Wellbutrin. Yeah, he's a piece of shit. Give me a line of that. Yeah, they go back to piece of shit. That's the way it is. It was never like that. Your crew was your crew, and you had to represent because you reflected on your guys, and that's just the way it was.
It's funny how like when you're a kid and shit, like how all the older dudes are like telling you do this, do that, and it's like all this funny ass shit, you know? Yeah, dude. But so
horrified. I was horrified.
Yo, you're fucking hilarious, bro.
That's the best.
Yo, so
fucking underwear. The underwears was the worst part of it. I had a wedgie up my ass, and it was crazy.
Yeah. Hey, there's more trauma fucking involved in the fucking leading up to the fight fucking than the fight itself.
Right?
Yo, I always felt like the butterflies and all that. And then as soon as the fight kicks off, it's like, you know, you don't feel any fear. You're just like in the zone. You know what I mean? But it's the fear comes before the fight. You know what I mean? And then it's like after it starts, it's like all gone.
If you get the win, in, and that's all the like. That's just everything. You didn't take the loss. You represented the crew. Everybody's cooking you a pasta meal after that. I'm still shaking. Got trauma from the underwear, and they're cooking me meals, bro.
Oh, yo, you put a pair of Fruit of Looms out in front of Stevie right now. He'll probably run.
They look like the kids you like when you were 6 years old. You wore them little underwear. It was like that. I was like, what do you even do with these?
Oh God.
Yeah. And I learned fast.
it's
Yeah.
funny that, Stevie was saying about, it's something that like I had to learn, you know what I mean? Because I'm a jokester, I like to play around and like I love to laugh, right? It's probably, mask my if I wasn't laughing, I'd be crying. So it's like I just try to make
Yeah.
light of things and that's something like I had to learn, quick was like and to this day, like sometimes, I get uncomfortable, whatever, like and I certainly won't like, I don't go out of my way to make anyone else uncomfortable because I know that feeling, but like I can get, to just kind of if someone I think's going to annoy me or some dudes like I know I'm not going to mix well with, then I might start like joking, like playing around and shit. And
Mm.
then sometimes you open up a can of worms, because
Yeah.
and then you put on the spot and it's like, all right, you just created that yourself, Joe. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. Yeah, because you
So
don't know how people are gonna take it. Like I've seen this kid, remember Garrett? Stevie Garrett. I don't know if you ever met Garrett, but
Bug. He's a
this kid
bug.
made a
Garrett the
gay,
bug.
yeah, some kid made a gay
Yeah.
joke to him, right? Bro, oh my
Yeah.
god, I've never seen somebody react so hilarious in my life. He said, yo, because someone gave him a good game, smacked him on the ass,
Yeah.
like, and he's like,
Yeah.
my fucking ass. He's like, oh
Yeah,
hell no. He's like, we're going to the cell. That shit was hilarious.
Yeah. He's
Fucking
straight bug.
Yo, so
Right.
Joey, when you're up in the feds and stuff like that, like the gravity and the level of violence, I've heard that it is so much different, right? Like it's not really fighting, it's more like stabbing. If you're gonna go at it, it's gonna be with knives.
yeah, so I mean, the thing is, I heard a long time. I heard before, an analogy. It's like, they say the state time's more physical incarceration, the feds is more mental, and like, I guess in some aspects, but I mean, it all depends where you are. If you're in a penitentiary, a medium, a low, you know what I mean? Like us guys don't go to camps, you know what I mean? You know who goes there, and
Right.
Mm,
and I mean, the guys in the, obviously you got the lifers in the pen, and that's where it's going down, really. The medium, that's a little, you might guys might be, have a little less time or whatnot, or have an opportunity to get out, and then you get the low, and guys are getting short on time. I mean, it's so different, where you and then you got to ask yourself too. That's the scary part too. Like it's not. I've said it before. It's not about the time itself. It's like, bro, we can get real comfortable in those places. That's we can settle for less. And like, I'm not scared to die or whatever. I'm scared to live. Because I have no fucking
Yeah.
clue how to do it. I never did. And
Mm.
out here is a lot harder than in there. But I mean,
mm,
just to get like to be in that situation, like and like Stevie was saying, 19 years old or whatever, 18, 19 years old, and you got these lifers that like, you know, they don't, it's like good guy, bad guy, it's irrelevant, like someone's character at that point. It's like, you don't know where their head's at or whatnot. And like their mindset is obviously a lot different,
mm.
they're on some other time. And here you are, that's the scary part to me. It's like, you might never go home. And it's like, if I was, I can't, like I say, we talk about the geek, you know what I mean? I know Stevie knows
Yep.
who that is. And,
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Stevie
Yeah.
knows.
Of course.
you
The
can't,
fat boy.
I can't disassociate, you know what I mean? I can't, when those doors fucking close, it's like, I'm a human being, bro. I feel that. I think of my family, you know what I mean? Like I get fucking sad. I get fucking, and it's too fucking much, bro,
Mm. Especially when you're in the
Course.
box for a good amount of time, the only thing you think about is like, are they gonna pick up on the phone today? Like, what are they
Yeah.
doing right now? Is my girl out there with somebody else? You know what I mean? The thoughts never end.
Fucking
But
torture.
yeah, it really
That's
is,
the
bro.
worst there is. I'd rather
Mm.
be in the yard fighting with the underwear on than to have to deal with my girl not answering the phone at 8 at night.
Fact, bro. Every
Tough
time they
guy.
don't answer, it's like immediately. As soon as they don't answer, immediately they must be out there doing some crazy shit, bro. Right? That fucking bitch. Right?
Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
Saturday afternoon, 90
Yeah.
degrees in the summer.
Yeah.
What do you mean you're out? Where are you?
You're working, you fucking
Yeah.
lying bitch.
Meanwhile, we left them, right? And we're like fucking always, It's funny. It's like I had I remember I went away, with 21 and I'm like, I always say, like, I'll tell you guys, like, I never expected the girl to wait 10 years for me, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's probably a lie, you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
That's a long time to wait, bro. Let me
no,
answer a
right.
few people in the chat. There's a few questions for you guys as well. So someone my friend ND Irish wants to know if there was any blue collar criminals in the feds.
Yeah, blue collar.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
yeah, of course. Hey, that's the thing. Like I say about the clientele, like you meet. I mean, you could anywhere. But yeah. I mean, I don't know. Put it this way,
You got
I
the
mean,
you got the Bernie Madoff guys.
Yes,
Mm.
and those guys. I
the
mean,
embezzlers.
yeah. So I mean, you got you got some guys there. There's definitely a lot of connections to be made and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it all depends where you're looking to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So another person wants to he meant white collar. I don't know what white collar criminals really are, but I mean
The white collar criminals are like the Bernie Madoffs, like the guys that go in there for embezzling people out of their money and coming up with like real estate stuff and
Ponzi
houses
schemes and
and all
shit like
that.
that.
yeah. Someone said
big money
Diddy's not
crime.
there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, those guys they're fishing there. You know what I mean? Those guys, you know how that goes.
Oh yeah.
We latch on to them, and that's how we eat. That's how the lion eats.
Yeah.
Fact, bro. Like I know many times throughout my sentence, there's that cash cow, and it's like, yep. I love it when they come to the walk. You know what I mean? Hey, what's up? But fucking all right. So someone else wants to know that before there was gangs and boils and stuff like that, how did the white guys how did they act? Like how did they stick together and things like that? I mean, I'll let you guys answer. I want you guys to be the star of this show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, listen, especially up in Walpole back in the day, before all that gang shit happened, where white guys will fight white guys, and we didn't have a beef with white guys, legit,
you're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, it go to a place where you got your brain stopped. So, guys.
You're breaking up a little, Stevie, but real quick, let me ask Joey while that little wave passes real quick. What's it like in the feds as far as gangs and like the white dudes and shit like that? Like how's the mascot run?
Oh, the mascot's deep. I mean, obviously fucking, it would seem to be biased, but it's anyone, real talk, the Boston guys, the mass guys, 038, they get the best reputation in the system. That's a fact. And, it says a lot about, the guy's character and stuff. And, just the neighborhoods that we're brought up in and like, and the parents that were raised by and stuff like that, just, good people and stuff, good hearts. And, but it's, I mean, that was the thing that to this day, I grew up in Charlestown, so I grew up around white Irish kids. You know what I mean? I had friends from, I always say, Stevie, I love the Italians, right? I had family in Medford, right? I had a lot of Italian friends, and, fucking, so there was no black, you know what I mean? And just because that's how it was, and, yeah, I remember being up there in the feds and having, I had a problem with a kid from DC.
Bounced out real quick.
Yeah. You want me to keep talking?
I was Stevie that bounced out.
Yeah. Yeah, Stevie. Yeah, we'll get him back on there.
Yeah, his reception's a little messed up. So when he comes back, I'll click him back in.
100%. And yeah, I talked about this on B Luke's, and I have a friend actually that my friend Richie G or whatever, he's shout out to Richie G. He's old school. Stevie definitely is. I'm sure they're friends.
Oh, yeah.
I had a beef with the DC kid, black kid. Obviously, there's you won't find a white DC kid. I never did, and everyone, when I had that beef, it wasn't just the kid, the white guys from Charlestown, South, Somerville, wherever the case may be. It was everyone from Boston, Mattapan, Roxbury, every Dorchester, any way you can think of, and they all rode together, and it's something to be said about that. And I remember hearing it in the hole, you had a little there was some pride, it felt good. It was a nice feeling, and it showed what people's it made you feel good about being from Boston, right? It wasn't just it runs deeper, and we got the sports and all that shit, but know, as far as the guys,
Right.
there's just something in the water here. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you know, it's nice. You know, it's nice to be able to. I remember, you know, when I first you know, when I first try to do like the recovery thing and stuff like that, and just try to learn, you know, it's like, all right, Joe, this isn't working, right? You got to fucking do something different and learn about like, you know, different things. See, I just lost my train of thought. That's
Yo, it happens, brother.
the
Yo, so
PCT right there,
we were
right?
talking about like the white crew in the Massachusetts car and the feds and shit. So how do they have like a top dog, and then they move, like the command moves on down the chain, or is it like everybody makes a decision and then, you know, you guys raise their hand to go and
I mean, basically, it goes without saying. I mean, you know, like I said, I had two OGs, you know, Stevie L from Somerville, Richie
Yep.
G from Chelsea, you know, and I know Stevie is friendly with those guys, and they took me under their wing, you know, and I couldn't have asked, honestly. Well, to this day, you know, like those guys are like family, you know what I mean? They're like my uncles, you know, and I was a kid, and they took me under their wing, and like these guys are just like salt of the earth. And they're the real deal, but you'd never know it. You know what I mean? They're perfect gentlemen, and I mean everything ran through them basically. You know, without being, you know, that's who. There was no. It didn't have to be mentioned. You know what I mean? You knew. You know, and from there it was like, and the respect those guys had. You know, they didn't have to. Sometimes it didn't have to get to they were just. Yeah, I mean, Richie was Stevie could talk. Stevie was a good communicator, and Richie was you know,
the muscle.
You don't want to get fucking Richie Rich upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what it is what you have is you got you got the guys that been around that put the blood, sweat, and tears in, you know, guys been around. You always got your generals and you got your soldiers. And every army, you know, is led by a general, and that's what you got in there. It's no different. It's like having an army in there. And back to what I was saying about the white thing and the gangs nowadays, and you know how disgusting it is in there amongst peers. Is back in the day, you were white, you represented white in Charlestown, East Boston, South Boston, Fall River, all that. You were together. You were together. That was it. There was no this one fights that one, this one fights that, because it would have been stopped immediately there. If two guys had an issue, you go in the cell, you handle your business, and it doesn't go to a point where, like nowadays, where you get in a fight with a guy and you know you're just going to try and stomp his brains out. Like for instance, Billy Cyrus, who I have no idea how what happened to him was even done with hands. This guy's head looked like it was smashed to pieces with a sledgehammer. He had no head. It was just, it was gone. His head got beat off. I've never seen anything in my entire life like that. And the worst part about it is he's laying there with no head, and the nurses are trying to give him CPR. And all it was doing was squirting. I've never seen anything like it. You know, I'm still fucking traumatized by that. That was the one and the only thing out of all the things I've seen that really stuck with me and bothers me to this day. That I seen that. It was the worst thing I ever seen in my life.
PTSD,
yeah. Fact. That
it
was
looked like somebody stuck a grenade. Looked like somebody put a grenade in his mouth and it went off. I've never seen anything like that in my life. And the crime scene was there for 9 days. Huh?
Yeah. So you were there that when that whole thing popped off and shit. And
I was right there. You know, I could talk about it. You know, I'm not saying any names now, but a lot of the guys got convicted. The case is all over. But that was literally the most horrendous thing I ever seen. And my cell was directly across from it when it was a crime scene. And for 9 days, I was locked in, having to look at brain, bone, eyes, teeth, blood, footprints of blood from the nurses and the crime scene investigators coming in there, and that was horrific. Horrific.
Explain a little bit about like Billy the Jew. Like, so that's Billy Cyrus, William Cyrus. He was kind of like an old man. It seemed like he almost had a death wish. Like
Billy Billy was I don't even think it was for good reason. Billy was a Jewish guy, and he was an older guy, 72, and he sold his little stamps and he had his little 2-for-1 store, and a couple guys want to get a few things off him and not pay back. And it's the wrong thing to do. Honor your bill, pay your bill, whatever. But another guy came in that was a good guy, and he had a store, and he noticed that a few guys were going to him. And he kind of told the guy, listen, don't deal with these guys. The money's no good. And that's how it happened. Guy lost his fucking head for it. His whole entire head was gone.
He's kind of sticking his head into something he shouldn't. I don't know, man. You're going and telling somebody that their money's no good. I get it. You know what I mean? But you got it from all angles. I feel like Billy did, he was a wise prick, bro. And I've dealt with that.
No, he wasn't right. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But would I be wrong where you're my friend and you came in and somebody's money was no good? And I say, yo, don't fuck with them dudes. The money's not good. That's, kind of my friend.
Not if you were my friend.
Yeah, but I mean, me and you were on a different playing field than he was. So,
right.
I don't know. It was just fucking, I'm traumatized by it.
I feel like Mikey had a lot of he had a lot of anger. You know what I mean? Mikey was he was definitely he had psychopathic tendencies.
Yeah, you think so?
He was a paranoid schizophrenic. And I know that he did not want to be in population. And then, as far as like getting in a fist fight, the guy couldn't bust a grape. He was equivalent of an 80-year-old guy at 40. And but yeah, psychologically dangerous and dangerous person not to have your guard up on. No question.
Yeah. In
fact, that's how it was in there. Nobody gave a fuck up.
Mikey's my guy. I love Mikey.
I like Mikey too. I like him.
Yeah,
but I keep him at a distance because he's psycho.
Yeah,
right. He definitely is. No question about that. No question about that. Joe, you ever seen anything like that up in the Feds?
Oh, I mean, just listen to the story. It's a harsh reminder that fucking. I mean, I attracted to that shit on the street. You know what I mean? Whether it be friends, fucking girls, it's like the chaos and but then having to be confined with it's like, bro, listen, my actions can and have landed me in like a fucking psych ward or something. But like at the end of the day, I wake up fucking after I take a nap for a couple of days or something. I wake up and I walk out to the common room or something, right? And I'm like, this is fucking really nuts. Like these people are really nuts, So then I just make the most of myself. I start playing Pictionary with them or something. I get them going, and the nurses love me. I have all the crazies fucking. It's like fucking One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest,
Yeah. The perfect name for it was the book and the movie, The Animal Factory, because that's what it is, and that's what they turn you into. And it's just like you have to really become an animal. Well, back then, it's just you have to be an animal. It's just you can't take no shots, and you got to make your point clear, which obviously I had to a couple times, and you got to make it clear enough so that person ain't never coming back in your fly zone again. He ain't never gonna want to come in your fly
Stevie,
zone.
real quick before we have to wrap this up, right? Because because of traffic and the studio time and stuff like that, I can't. Like you have very limited time, but I want to hear the story about Okie. Tell me what happened to
Okie. Everybody's favorite guy, Okie. Okie had a big mouth and he liked to gossip all the time, and I never liked him and I never wanted him around me. And then one day he happened to fucking say some stupid shit about me. Like I had a Nike sneaker order. A couple people had medical. You know how we used to scam the footwear. Yep. So, we get called out for property. A few of us get our property. I'm walking back. He says hi to me. 2 minutes later, the guy comes down and say, hey, Okie just said everybody who gets sneakers are institutional rats.
Oh.
So I went to him. I said, just call me a fucking rat. And then, no, I didn't say. Then the guy said, tell him what you said. And he goes, yeah, I said it. I'm sorry. And, I got convicted of it, so it doesn't matter no more. I went in my cell. I made a knife. I went downstairs and I put work in on him and sent him out.
But I heard that and that's what fell down, right? and that his little dick.
And after that, Okie never called anyone a rat ever again.
No, he might have. He's a
yeah. Okie never did that. You know, they call him. They started calling him Okie Pokey because he got poked 12 times.
Dude, with a big ass knife, like. Dude, that thing was a sword, bro. I had it in my possession before I went to the hole, dude. That thing was serious, bro.
Oh, no, I had that thing that was a bone crusher I had. But you know what saved him? What really saved him? Because at that point, I didn't give a fuck. He called me out of my name and, you know, trying like, you know, you ruin a guy's reputation with words like that. And if you don't correct it, it continues to happen. What saved him is he fell and I thought he was dead. The only reason he's alive is because I thought he was dead. And I left. I walked away. I said, get rid of it.
Well, that's the savage life for you right there.
And like the good guy he really is, he never gave me an affidavit.
Yo, I'm really I appreciate both you guys showing up tonight. You guys are dynamite guests. Not for nothing. You guys are the dynamite guests. I'm not even, you know.
Yeah, we'll have to get there. We'll have to get there live next time, brother.
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, we'll definitely do some more, bro. This is the squad right here, bro. Between us, we got at least fucking 57 years in prison, right? So much experience, so much wisdom, and on this screen right here, bro. Like,
hey, Stevie should be at the top. You gotta
for real. Yo, word.
It's like that fucking guy up there is better looking than me. What is that thing up there? Yeah, you guys are listen. Anytime you want to go live, man, we'll go live and you know, we'll get this thing running, man. We got to get some of these guys out here tune in onto this and pass it around, man, and you know, help us get through this, man, because we're still out here struggling too.
Yeah.
Respect, brother.
Hey, both you guys, big respect, man, and I appreciate you showing up again. I'm gonna play a song on the way out. I'm gonna drop us off on the screen and play a song on the way out. Everybody, man, I appreciate you guys for showing up. Hit those hearts in hundreds during this song, man. Boost this algorithm for me, guys. Comments, hearts in hundreds. Boost the algorithm. W number. You know what the fuck time it is, bro. Pump this shit all over the place. Send this shit to fucking Michigan. Send it to California. Send it to the little Chinese people. Send it to freaking Guatemala. Send it to everywhere, man. Fucking W number. It's a movement, baby. W number out.
All right, Joe.
All right, Stevie. Pleasure, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Inside of me, come walk me down that path. He said, go my son, I've called upon you, this is all your land. This is real, I'm spirit filled, so why should I be fearful? Child of God, you're royalty, these demons can't come near you. When you're living in the light, we fight with love, cause that don't die. I be rooted in Almighty, so be careful, hating on mine. God fight my battles, and he ain't lost one yet. I be killing off my sinful nature, deny my flesh. Watch my light shine, this is God's plan. He noticed me and blessed me cause I showed him I'm not playing. I said bye to that world and really walked by faith. Then he opened up his arms and poured these blessings on my plate. They try to pay me for a feature, I don't want nothing to do with that world. Man, they really thought I was playing, I don't want nothing to do with that world. Trying to compromise my faith, but I don't want nothing to do with that world. Man, these groupies know I'm married, I don't want nothing to do with that world. I said bye to that world, dying daily to that world. You can't pay me for that world, I'm not friendly with that world. I said bye to that world, dying daily to that world. You can't pay me for that world, I'm not friendly with that world. Man, the Bible told me to choose one, I can't serve two masters. Wide road and a narrow one, only one gon' get you there faster. In conflict with the enemy, so it ain't easy as Christian. Shooting back at the devil's camp, I'm on point and ain't missing. They misguiding our children, been attacking all our youth. Depression and anxiety got suicide through the roof. Living in these dark Dark times letting kids pick their gender. Wanna lock us up and close the church and advertise that liquor. The common theme of these rap songs is selling dope and killing. And they wonder why these rappers dying and ending up in prison. I ain't scared, I'ma talk to them. I let God provide my wealth. And you old rappers still lying to them. Should be ashamed of yourself. They try to pay me for a feature. I don't want nothing to do with that world. Man, they really thought I was playing. I don't want nothing to do with that world.